There is a moment that doesn't look dramatic from the outside, but inside, it changes everything. No shouting, no final argument, no emotional breakdown, just a quiet realization forming in the mind of an empath. I can't do this anymore. The world keeps moving, people keep expecting, conversations keep repeating, but something fundamental has shut down. The empath who once felt everything now feels distant. And that distance isn't cruelty, it's the last layer of protection left.
Empaths don't wake up one day and decide to stop caring. Caring is their natural state. It's woven into how they listen, how they notice shifts in tone, how they sense emotions before words are spoken. For a long time, they believe this gift is meant to heal relationships, save connections, and bring understanding where there's chaos. They show patience when others don't deserve it. They explain themselves gently. They forgive repeatedly.
They stay longer than they should because leaving feels like failure. In the beginning, the empath tells themselves that love requires effort, that everyone struggles, that empathy means endurance. They absorb moods, they excuse behavior, they carry emotional weight that isn't theirs. And when something hurts, they don't withdraw, they lean in harder, hoping closeness will fix what distance created. This is how the slow erosion begins, not with one deep wound, but with 1,000 small ones ignored. The problem is not that the empath gives too much once, it's that they are expected to give endlessly. They become the safe space for everyone else while having none of their own. Their feelings are acknowledged briefly, then set aside. Their boundaries are misunderstood as rejection. Their exhaustion is minimized because they appear strong. And because they rarely complain, people assume they are fine.
But the body keeps score. Sleepless nights, emotional fatigue, a constant low-level tension that never quite fades. The empath starts feeling drained after interactions that once energized them. Conversations feel heavy. Silence feels safer. Still, they don't leave. They tell themselves it's just a phase. They'll recover. They always do.
Until one day, they don't.
The shift into avoidance doesn't arrive with anger. It arrives with numbness. The empath notices they're no longer eager to reply. They don't rush to comfort. They don't replay conversations in their head anymore. The emotional thread that once pulled them toward others quietly dissolves, and what's left is an unfamiliar calm mixed with grief.
This is the moment people misunderstand the most. From the outside, it looks like the empath has become cold or detached, but inside, it feels like survival. When caring has been consistently met with dismissal, manipulation, or imbalance, the nervous system learns that emotional closeness equals danger. Avoidance becomes the safest option, not because the empath lacks depth, but because they have reached emotional capacity.
An empath who goes avoidant is not playing games. They are not testing loyalty. They are not seeking attention. They are conserving what little energy remains. They stop explaining because explaining never changed anything. They stop asking for understanding because their needs were never truly heard. Silence becomes easier than repeating the same emotional labor with no return.
This phase is often permanent with certain people. Once an empath emotionally withdraws, reopening that door feels too risky. Trust has been replaced with pattern recognition. They've seen what happens when they stay open in the wrong environment, and they refuse to abandon themselves again.
What's important to understand is that avoidance in this case is not emotional immaturity. It's emotional intelligence developed through pain. The empath learns that not everyone deserves access to their inner world. They learn that empathy without boundaries leads to resentment. They learn that love does not mean unlimited availability.
There's also a quiet strength that emerges. The empath becomes more selective, more grounded, more aware of their limits. They no longer chase emotional validation. They no longer need to be understood by everyone. They stop performing kindness at the cost of their mental health. This isn't bitterness, it's clarity.
For those left behind, the absence is confusing. They remember the version of the empath who always showed up, always listened, always forgave. They wonder what went wrong. But the truth is uncomfortable. Nothing went wrong suddenly. Everything went wrong slowly. Each ignored boundary, each unreturned effort, each moment the empath needed care and didn't receive it added another brick to the wall.
And once that wall is complete, the empath doesn't knock it down for anyone.
If you are an empath who has gone avoidant, it's important to release the guilt. You didn't become distant to punish anyone. You became distant to protect yourself. You didn't lose your capacity for love. You refined it. You learned to give it where it's safe, mutual, and appreciated.
And if you're someone trying to understand why an empath in your life pulled away, the answer isn't that they stopped caring overnight. It's that caring became too painful to continue. They waited, they hoped, they communicated in the only ways they knew how, and when nothing changed, they chose peace.
At Spark Your Potential, we believe that real growth often begins when you stop forcing connections that drain you and start honoring the signals your mind and body have been sending for years. Going avoidant isn't the end of empathy, it's the rebirth of self-respect. The empath doesn't disappear. They evolve. They become quieter but stronger, softer but firmer. They stop explaining their worth and start living it. And once they reach this stage, the most important truth becomes clear. Caring for others should never require abandoning yourself.
Sometimes the most powerful decision an empath can make is to stop caring where care was never returned and finally direct that compassion inward. That's not weakness, that's awakening. And that's how true potential begins to rise.